Hello again, everyone. Today I am here with a very small unboxing or unbagging from Yoseka Stationery, and you can probably see through the packaging what this already is. And I have these Kawecos here, which I am going to do some nib swapping with this new item that I have in here. And because I wanted to swap some nibs around, I thought it would be a good way to show you how to change nibs on Kawecos that can just, where the nib can be unscrewed and where you have to remove the nib from its friction fit housing. So basically you can screw the nib off of any of the Kaweco All Sports. And I think the little tiny pocket ones, you can do that as well, the metal ones. But with the plastic sport pens, you have to pull the nib out. So I will show you both of these and I will show you how to swap nibs around. But first, let's open this. There is only one item in here. I'm gonna save this washi tape because I always do that. Oops. Pull that off. And then this is just going to be a very simple unboxing because it's just the one item. They always include some little Yoseka stickers. Put that off to the side. And they always include a note, no matter how small my order. Thank you for your order again. Then I order from them quite a bit. The new premium nib is smooth and slightly differs from the regular nib. Ashley did an amazing comparison post. Let us know how you like it. Okay, so I assume that means that somewhere they have a comparison of this Kaweco premium nib, which is what is the only item in this order, and regular nibs from Kaweco. So I'm kind of two minds about this. First thing, I waited until I saw at least one video on YouTube comparing the premium nib and the regular nib. And based on that, I felt like there was enough of a difference to warrant trying at least one out. That's great to have a premium nib. These are steel, they're not gold, but they are rather pricey for a steel nib. And it would be nice if they just had sort of a premium nib on their regular pens and basically had a well-tuned nib on every pen. With Kawecos, there is a lot of variation. One of the things, I think most of their nibs are made by Bach. At least that was my understanding as of, for a while. They may be shifting to a different brand. I don't know. I don't know if this is made by a different brand. I don't know if they tell you. It just says Kaweco on it, so I don't know. Box made in China, but it doesn't say about the nib itself. So let's go ahead and get in here. So this is all you have. It's just a regular Kaweco nib in this little container. You do get the container, I suppose, if that's what something that you want. I'm gonna take this out here. I got the fine because I do like writing with a very smooth, fine nib if I can get it. So I wanted to go ahead and try the fine out because if I can get this is supposedly a very smooth nib. So if it's a smooth fine, that'll be right up my alley. Some of the issues that I have had with Kaweco nibs and Bach nibs generally is that their tines can be misaligned. I've actually encountered quite a few Kaweco nibs that I've purchased either single or already on fountain pens that do have misaligned tines, and I've had to replace them. And, I probably should be telling the place that I order them from, but I would basically be doing that on probably every other pen. And I do have a lot of spare nibs because I've gotten some custom grinds and that sort of thing. So unless I really, really don't have any other nib, I haven't been complaining about it. But that is something to be aware of. And now we have this premium nib, which would be nice if every nib was just premium, like I was saying. So this is the gold version. They also have a silver toned version. Even though this is gold colored, it is not actually gold in material. It is still a steel nib. It's just coated in a gold material. So I wanted to put this nib on this pen because it has the gold trim, Currently, I have a 1.1 stub on here, but it is in silver tone. So in order to better match the trim, I don't know, I guess they call it the furniture on the pen, I wanted to put this gold nib in here. And then I wanted to put this 1.1 stub in this Sport, which I've actually already swapped the nib out on because it was one of these kind of funky nibs. I have a bold nib in here now, but I think I originally had this 1.1 stub in here or had swapped it out at some point. Anyway, so what I have here to facilitate this is I have this goulet grip for the one that I have to pull out. And there's probably still some ink in here. I've cleaned these out, so we shouldn't have any ink getting everywhere with these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to screw this one out to show you how that works. So, oh, and before I fully do that, let me take out the converter because I do have a converter in here. And it's a little bit wet because I just rinsed it and gave it a good clean. I'm going to just get a little extra water out of there. Okay, so I'm going to take this out by just twisting, and that is twisting in a counterclockwise motion, and then it comes right out. So this, if I had another all sport, I could just screw this into that one. But because this is not an all sport, it's just a regular plastic sport, I will need to remove this from this housing and remove this nib from this housing and swap them out. So, but with the new nib here, since it already is in the housing, oh, let me put that in the actual section, nib section here. So you can just put that in there, screw it in, make sure it's finger tight. You don't want to tighten it too much. And then I will just put the converter back in there and voila. I will fill this. I have some inks off to the side to fill this with. However, I'm just realizing that I don't have paper handy. So I will get that out once I have done that. But for now, I'm going to close this back up because this is all ready to go with this new nib in here. And let's just close that up. And then I will show you how to swap these nibs. So I use the goulet grip. And usually you can do this just with the nib like this in the unit. You don't actually have to have it in a pen to do it. And then you pull the nib and sort of wiggle it a little bit. And then there you go. I will dab this off a little. It's probably a little wet from my recent cleaning. And I'll just leave that on the tissue that I have here. So there's that one. And then I am going to do the same thing here, although I am going to take the converter out again here so that we're not pulling that as well, because the converter is connected to the nib unit. I think it'd be fine actually to remove, I have a little bit of water down in there because I did just literally clean these. Okay, so I'm going to pull that. I kind of wiggle it just a tiny bit because you don't want to do it too much, and it comes right out. It's really not that bad. These I've already removed at least once before, so they probably came out a little bit easier than, you know, they might sometimes. Now to put it back in, to make sure that it's all aligned. So basically you want the feed in the middle of the nib there. There is actually a little stop here. So if you put that down, you can't go any further. That's kind of where you want that to be. And then there is no alignment because it's all round. So then you just push that in there and voila, you have your new nib in there. So I'm going to replace the converter in here. It looks like there's a little bit of ink on that. Like I said, I did clean this out, but sometimes purple inks are a little bit staining. But for now, I'm going to put this other nib into this housing that I just took that other one out of, just to store it in that housing. If things get a little bit out of alignment, it's pretty easy to just push them back into place. Just be careful that you don't touch the very tip too much. I'm usually working down here. The only harm that you could really do to this is misalign the tines. So just be aware of that. All right, so that's there. I'm going to store that and put it on a different pen at some point probably. It's a very nice smooth broad nib. So, all right, so here's this one. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill these with ink. So I'm all done with my goulet grip. I can put that away. We've swapped out all the nibs. They are good to go. And I will test this one out for you as well. I'm going to put Sailor 252 in this one. And this will also show you how to fill a Kaweco Sport. You could take this out and just fill the converter, but I'm going to leave it in the pen today and do it that way. So you put the nib down into the bottle and then you just pull up. I usually do a couple of pumps, so I'll put it back down and then do it one more time to get a little bit more of a full fill. Actually, I'm going to do that one more time because I got some bubbles in there. Okay, so that's pretty full there on the converter. Let's go ahead and wipe off the nib. All right, that one should be good to go. So for now, I'm just going to put the back on the pen and then seal that up and then close this bottle of ink. And then with the All Sport, I'm going to put Herbin's L'Armée de Cassis in here. And these aren't going to be, you know, exact matchy ink pen matches, but they'll be pretty darn close, or at least complementing and look nice together. So let me go ahead and open this bottle. I'm just going to do the same as what I did with the other pen. Put it down in there, pull on the converter, and then I'm actually going to do this 1 or 2 times here. There we go. So once again, pretty full fill on the converter. I'm just going to wipe off the excess ink here. And get this little towel off to the side. And then I'm going to close this up and then we will test these out. So I think what I'm actually going to do, I'm trying to see what paper I want to use. I'm just going to grab a sheet of Tomoe River paper. Of course, it's like buried to get my notebook where that is. I recently spilled water all over my table and a lot of my traveler's notebooks got wet. I was super upset about it. But I think ultimately they will be okay. But that particular notebook is kind of a mess right now, so I didn't want to show it. Let me just put this piece of paper here. This is Tomoe River paper from a Tomoe River paper pad. So let's try out, this won't be a direct comparison because this is obviously a 1.1 stub, so it will obviously write a little differently than a regular fine Kaweco nib. I'm wondering if I do actually have a fine somewhere that's already inked up. I may. Let me take a quick look. Because, you know, I may not have any fines, and that is why I wanted to, yeah, and unfortunately I don't have a fine to compare. I do have extra fines, but not a fine. And since we're not going to be doing a direct comparison anyway, let's just deal with this with the 1.1 stub. So I don't think you can actually buy the sports with the 1.1 stub already on there. I think you have to get them as extra nibs, but that's how I've purchased them. So this is nice. The trim is all matchy now with the nib. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So I think this is so I know this is the Sport Lilac, which was a special edition recently. And this one I purchased on Amazon. It's actually a special edition light purple that is only available in some other country, but I got it from Amazon. I'll put a link if it's still available. I'll also put a link to this one if it's still available. I really love the color of this Sport. Looks like I got a little bit of ink there, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and write here. Oh, that is very nice. Kaweco All Sport. Oh, very smooth. Okay. Yeah, that is very nice. And right out of the fill, too. Oh, no. The reason why I say oh, no is because now I'm going to want to replace other nibs with this one because it really is like night and day. So what ink did I say was in here? This is Herbon Lerme de Cassis. All right. Oh, goodness. This is wonderful. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. All right, so you're definitely going to be getting a very nice nib with this new nib. My only beef with it is why don't all your nibs come this way? And why is the nib so expensive as an add-on? I mean, maybe it's because they're individually tuned and that is labor and you're paying for the labor. You know, if that's the case, so be it, I guess. But this is amazing, better than any other Kaweco nib I have ever gotten out of the box. Most times I have to adjust them in some way. So this is perfect right out of the box. I'm not going to change that. Okay, so that's the star of the show. I will, however, show you this 1.1 stub nib, which now also matches its trim. And so this is, oh, see, even this one doesn't start right away. So this is the Kaweco Sport with a 1.1 stub. And this is Sailor 252. This is quite smooth as well. I don't think I actually tuned this one, but that's a rarity. It's kind of why I wanted to put it on here, because it does write very nicely. And I just realized that I didn't put up here that this is the Kaweco Premium Nib in fine. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I may have to, yeah, we'll see. I'll decide about that. All right. Well, that's all I had for you today. It looks like I smudged that a little bit there. Sorry about that. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.